And welcome to the Inland Sports Show, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in. You might have noticed, back in my living room for tonight's episode. All these summer vacation plans are really getting in the way of our summer coverage, but we will get back on track once the school year really resumes in a couple weeks with the start of high school football and then college football. But yeah, we were in studio for a couple of weeks, back home tonight. We're all good. Don't worry. Everyone's safe. Everyone's healthy. But our director, man, he's out there vacationing. He's got side gigs. He's on the hustle. We love you, Johnny Nunez. You're the best. But we will be back in the Teen Vision TV 16 studio come next week. Now, this show, again, we're going to talk more high school football. We're going to break down some of those big games coming up in week 0, which is August 20th, August 19th, actually, if you have a Thursday night game. So it's right around the corner now. And then we'll also talk to the Yucaipa High School baseball coach, Ralph Grajeda, one of his star players as well, Jacob Reimer. Yucaipa, one of the top programs in the area, and a lot of their big-time top prospects are going across the country this summer, getting a lot of great exposure. Some of them even trying to make Team USA or get noticed for the Major League Baseball draft next summer or even the summer after that. These guys are really good and they're really young. So we'll talk some Yucaipa baseball as well. But leading things off, he's one of our most favorite guys in the entire world. And he's back. And it has been way too long as the head coach at San Bernardino Valley College, the great Daniel Algattas. And coach, I know enough to be dangerous with video. It looks like you have passed me. You are beyond dangerous. It looks like you're in 4K. You got the sweet background, but I think you really do like video. You really appreciate the technology side of it, right?
Yeah, when I first started coaching, my way in was through technology. So always working with video. We're really big on video at our place. We shoot 5 or 6 angles at every practice. So we definitely use it as a tool. And it's less boring to look at during Zoom meetings. So,
well, I definitely took notice as we started this interview because you got the sweet background. It says Valley, but you got the Jumpman, the Michael Jordan logo behind you as well. But, Coach, I wanted to bring you on because the football season is right around the corner. And for you guys, it's been a really long layoff, not having football this past season. How anxious are you for the upcoming season? Are you excited? Do you feel like you're going to soak in everything just a little bit more because you didn't have it for a year? What's kind of your feelings right now going into the 2021 season?
Yeah, it feels like everything's going by very quickly. Like there's already not enough time to try to get everything in. Having not seen anybody in so long now, the returners, not as difficult, but with the incoming freshmen, it certainly feels like a lot of the sophomores went to 4 years and finished some more classes and transferred out and did all that. So a little less returning leadership, and so that portion of it. So cultivating younger leaders and the culture and trying to get everything in and trying to do it all in 6 weeks over this summer has been pretty difficult. So we're not where we want to be at yet, but there's that hump that you get over, and then you'll be ready to go. So hopefully we get over that sooner than later.
Now, Coach, we all know you're a smart guy, and you love to plot, you love to scheme, you like to, get ready for your upcoming games. But, I don't know how many days it's been exactly. Maybe you do know since your last football game at SBVC. But is that just a lot of time to stew about, okay, what are we going to do next season? Are we going to change anything? I'm coming up with a new play. That's a lot of time to just, kind of be in your own head thinking about, how are we going to get better for when we actually do get on the field?
Yeah, changed the playbook several times, just the design of it. But the actual playbook has gotten its biggest revamp really ever. So working with psychologists at UCLA and how we use our terminology, how we use our the words that we use, trying to be more efficient, carrying more meaning, trying to do a lot more with a lot less in terms of how many plays do you really need to do this or to do that. And so we found some very special things. And then, the analytics revolution, has been something it's been brewing. I have all my Post-its on the wall in front of me and everything all over the place. So hopefully we have some weapons of mass calculation we can use to get, a couple extra inches here and there. That'd be nice. But whatever we can do to put players in the best position possible is is kind of what I've been brooding about in the home office for what feels like almost 2 years here. So yeah, very excited.
Weapons of mass calculation. Did I hear that correctly?
You did. That's original from me. So if you're repeating it, hopefully it's good, and we're not. We'll see.
Coach, I know you are a numbers guy, but at some point, do you just do the eyeball test and you're like, that guy can play? He's completing 70% of his passes
Absolutely.
on third down. I don't need to look at that number. I know he's going to make that play when we need him to. Like at some point, do you just kind of take both into consideration, the numbers and just what your gut says, what your eyes say?
Yeah, I think we use the numbers to discard fallacies. Like, this guy's passing for 80%, but he's never thrown a ball past the line of scrimmage, something like that. So we'll use it to certainly help with that in recruiting or talent identification. But really, we want the numbers to inform our decisions and to tell us why. So why is this happening, or why are we having success, or why are we having difficulties with this? But that goes all the way down to the player level. So the analytics that we've created are really there for player development. Most people want to use them for drafting models or things like that, but we want to use them to make players better and to guide us and to track progress and to see how those things are going. So give us a peek into why players are good, not just if they're good, because at our level, we really have to develop in order for them to move on. So you come from high school and you were awesome in high school, but for whatever reason you landed with us. So we certainly need some more development, and we need to provide something for that student athlete that they weren't able to get, or something that they something they couldn't understand. So when we can get something on paper and say, hey, you're not getting open because of this or because of that, and have something to point to, then we have a new tool or a new analytic that we can look at for that player, and he can say, how well am I doing, instead of just yards, right? So average catch, you have 1 for 99, and now you have a huge average. So some of the simple statistics are fantastic, but without having large amounts of data, then sometimes they mislead you. So we just use it for some of those things, and just try to simplify it down to, hey, you need to be a little bit further outside, as opposed to, shouting, numbers on the field and stuff like that. So we just find some reasons and then put it into human language and coach with it.
That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense to me. Coach, the last time we saw you guys, again, I feel like 2019 was so long ago, but since you guys have been bumped up to the national conference, so if you're just a casual, college football fan, that means you're going to be playing, I would say, better teams, if that's fair to say. No slight on, some of those American conference, schools out there, but you're going to be playing a bulky national conference schedule. I think it's the National Southern League, I want to say specifically. So Can you talk about what this schedule is going to look like? And this could be the best schedule the Wolverines has seen at least since you've been there.
Yeah, I would say certainly all the teams that we have, if nothing else, have at least historically provided more depth, and that's not something that just helps throughout the course of a game, but certainly throughout the course of a season. So it's it's like playing somebody else and where they're playing a tag team match, and when they're tired, they just tag in the next guy, and so that takes a toll throughout the season. But with us, we have some numbers, we have some depth, we have some talent at a lot of positions. And although we're young, I'm not sure that that's unique to just us this upcoming season. So we'll really have to see. We've had years where we didn't think we were that good and went undefeated and won national championships, and years where we're the best team ever and have gone, and have lost, multiple games. So it all depends on how the talent is spread out, and with everything and how it's all shaking out at the 4 years, and players coming back, not coming back. The transfer portal is different. So the distribution of those players is different than it was before. And then as well with local talent. So we'll just see where that's at. And, that's why we play the season.
Well, Coach, I do want to dig into your roster a little bit, but first things first. Listen, I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. He's always been my guy. He's the GOAT. Don't at me, you LeBron fans. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. But can you change your background real quick to the SBVC Wolverines?
Sure, yeah, we can go a little bit more traditional.
Like, look at that. I mean, this guy. Look at this guy. He's got all these different backgrounds. You're putting me to shame. I'm supposed to be the video guy, and now you're the video guy.
Whether it's ping pong or video, we show up ready to compete, I guess.
Or Rubik's Cube. Don't leave out the cube.
Yeah, it's over there.
Well, Coach, speaking of your roster, it has been wacky because, we didn't have football last season, and I'm sure you had some guys who were sophomores last year expecting to play and hopefully get noticed and move on. What does this roster look like? Do you have guys maybe hanging around Valley for a third year? Do you have guys who are going to be freshmen this year who were local talents that we might recognize some names that are going to, see the field? I mean, what is this roster going to kind of look like? And maybe is it kind of different from years past because of COVID?
Yeah, it's certainly an older roster. And so, which is, again, for me, quite a bit unique to have that many guys that are in their 20s, 20 or 21, because if they come out of high school and maybe they're one of the older guys that come out and they gray shirt and they red shirt, and then COVID happens and now they're a true freshman or a red shirt freshman at 21 years old, and then somebody just graduated, a month and a half ago, and you have that difference. You basically have a college senior, but they have the same amount of playing experience. So it is certainly different to have some guys that are a couple years older. I think that those couple years make a big difference, and if nothing else, their disposition. Talking to those guys and talking to your 17-year-olds is a lot different. Certainly, just in casual conversation. So it's almost like a different generation. There's a big split there. So, but those older guys have been fantastic in terms of getting the young guys squared away in terms of get pen and paper. We do meetings here and we meet a lot, and being accountable, things like that. Those older guys have been waiting around so long and working in secret to stay in shape and do all those things. So it means quite an extra bit to them. So for those guys, I think it will be sweeter to have successful seasons and sign their scholarship and finally get a chance to go, having taken every class that's available at a junior college. I think they're ready.
So, Coach, we love quarterbacks on this show, and you've been blessed to have some really great quarterbacks who happen to be Inland Empire guys. Armando Herrera, Redlands East Valley, and then Jeremy Musa, who is a Roosevelt guy. We love the quarterbacks. Do we have a quarterback competition right now at Valley? Do you have a front runner? Do you have some new guys? Do you have some old guys? What does that competition look like right now?
Yeah, so with having a mixed bag of receivers in terms of guys returning and a lot of new receivers, it's been tougher for the quarterbacks. Our defense is revamped and doing some new things. And so for them, they've been really, really, really challenged over the summer. And so we have 4 quarterbacks on the team. We think all 4 of them can, have their own unique talents. But the youngest one coming in is Makai Lewis. He's a local guy from Grand Terrace. So he spent he had a year off during the pandemic. And so he's back to ball. And David Schmucker, who started the College of the Desert and the Chaffee game for us, is back. Our relationship stretches back quite a ways. He was a freshman at Ventura when I was there, transferred to a 4-year, and then one day, just one January, just showed up and was back. So we're working together again. And then Robert Eggleston, a graduate of Summit High School, is in there. And I know, the players love playing with him. He was really all the quarterbacks, but those 2, David and Robert, were working with guys, as much as they could, all of that. And they did a great job holding those guys together. And then one transfer is Cooper Justice from University of Utah. And so, he looks, you guys haven't seen him on film. So you'll see him out there. He's a little bit taller than the average guy. So he's a 6'7" left-hander, and also has some wheels. He can throw it. May play maybe a starting pitcher for our baseball team as well. We'll see where that goes. So he's also in the hunt, but it's new. It's essentially new for everybody who's in there, and so we are in fact in a quarterback competition. So with us kind of just about ready to wrap up summer ball and take a long 4 days off before we come back to helmets and shoulder pads. We'll get those guys in pads and get them some good pocket protection there, and let those guys duke it out.
Yeah, you said 6'7" and lefty. Before you even said it, I thought, oh man, he should be a baseball pitcher, and then,
yeah.
and then you hit on it.
Yeah, there we go.
And Coach, finally, as we get ready for this season, when I think of Daniel Algattas football teams at Valley, I think they play fast. They're going to score a lot of points. Great quarterback, great receivers. But it sounds like, and maybe I'm reading it wrong, but it sounds like the defense could be leading the way, at least going into the season. Am I reading that wrong, or is that fair to say?
I think our defense is pretty fantastic. I think we got a lot of talent at a lot of positions, and we're really, really young. So, we'll see where it goes, but very excited about those guys, how they swarm around, things they do. I think the biggest thing that's happened to our program since we last spoke is adding 4 more essentially full-time coaches to our staff. Bringing in Dave Hoover, who has coached offensive line at the Division I level for over 22 years, led the nation in rushing at UNLV, and I believe UMass when they won a national championship there. Another former UCLA quarterback and went to Southeastern. He was coaching at Southeastern, Eastern Washington, Justin Posthuma. Naika Long, another JC former head coach, as well as an offensive coordinator at several levels. He played at Mississippi Valley State and won a national championship at 18-0. And somebody very near and dear to my heart, Lenny Rodriguez, who was a co-coordinator defensive coordinator at Mount Sac the last few years, but also coaching linebackers and had some coordinating duties while inventing the 3-3 defense with Rocky Long at University of New Mexico for over 10 years. To work alongside myself, who's full-time, and Ken Lawler, who's coached at Boise State and been a JC head coach. So it's nice to have 4 or 5 other junior college head coaches on staff to kind of see the big picture and to provide some feedback to the younger head coach and see those things. And it allows me to do a lot of the things I want to do. And I'm very thankful to our administration for doing that for our student athletes. It helps me out as well, but certainly our student athletes over the course of the next few years are really going to get some really high level coaching. There's just so many scholarship connections that those guys have. So very excited for this group of student athletes, and then moving into the future. This is something that we really needed moving into the national conference or into the national division. And so that's something that's certainly going to help. So very excited about everything that's changing at SBVC, because it really feels like it's all for the better.
It's still Death Valley, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is the great Daniel Algattas breaking it down. All things Wolverines here on the Inland Sports Show. And again, that season opener coming up, I think it's just September 4th against Desert. Does that sound right?
Correct. Yeah. At home
at Death Valley. So check that out. Coach Algattas, man, you are the best. We always appreciate the time. And I'm sure I'll be crashing one of your practices pretty soon.
Yeah, I'll be there. Thank you so much for having me on. Stay well, everybody.
Yes, sir. That is Coach Algattas from SBVC. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk a little high school football, those big week 0 games, and then Yucaipa High School baseball right around the corner. We'll be right back on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. calling all athletes. Make sure you're at your very best by training at Boost Performance Training in Corona. Whether you're a football player, soccer player, baseball player, lacrosse, athletes from all sports and all levels train at Boost Performance Training. Led by former Centennial High School football star Ray Bass, you'll develop explosive power, become faster, and add that lean muscle. Don't be left behind and get a leg up on the competition at Boost Performance Training. Visit boosttrainingsystems.com for information on their training programs and also on the Bass School. That's the Bass Alternative School for student athletes. Trying to earn a scholarship? Maybe make the varsity team? Get a spot in the starting lineup? Well, let Boost Performance Training help achieve your athletic goals. The number one sporting goods store in the Inland Empire is Ken's Sporting Goods in Norco. Whether you need new uniforms for the entire team, a Letterman's jacket, or new cleats for the upcoming season, check out Ken's Sporting Goods. Plus, now you can order masks with your favorite team, school, business, and more. Order for your entire team or organization. Visit kensportinggoods.com for more information and for the latest on the big sales. Make sure to follow Ken's Sporting Goods on Instagram and Twitter. So if you need team uniforms or sports gear, there's only one place to go in the Inland Empire. That's Ken's Sporting Goods. We'll start with the Olympics, and we'll bring it home because our guy Michael Norman from Vista Marietta High School, he has qualified for the 400-meter finals. He just did it earlier this morning in Tokyo, Japan at the Olympics. So congratulations to Michael Norman. One of the fastest guys on the planet going for gold now. And he just did it this morning.
So when do we get to see him compete? Do we know when that event is?
I believe the finals are tomorrow, so depending on where the time changes, it's probably like late tomorrow night. But yeah, Michael Norman, our guy from Vista Marietta High School. And, we've got several locals that are Olympians for Team USA over there. Another one, he'll begin his competition tonight. It's Chris Bernard in the triple jump, and he's from Corona. He's a Santiago High School guy.
Won't hold that against him. I'm a Centennial guy, but that's okay.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. You can check it out, KCAL 96.7 FM every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. with my boys, Patrick and Forty, breaking it down, talking everything, local sports, Olympics, NBA, Dodgers, NFL, you name it, we break it down. So a big thanks to Daniel Algattas, the head football coach at SBVC, for joining us here on the Inland Sports Show. The Wolverines, again, going into their first season in the National Conference, which is if you were going to have two tiers of junior college football in California, at least Southern California, you got the National Conference and then the American Conference. So they're going to have some really good competition in their conference, and also their non-conference schedule is really good too. So we'll have more on the Wolverines leading up to their season opener on September 4th against College of the Desert. Right now, we want to talk a little high school football here on the show because week 0, if you play Friday night, August 20th, well, that is right around the corner now. And we also have a handful of Thursday night games on August 19th. But what we want to do each and every week, we have our Ken's Sporting Goods must-see game each and every week. But what we did last year during the spring, and we're going to bring it back this fall, is we're going to highlight some of the top games in the Inland Empire. We can't list them all. I wish we could. Our show simply is not long enough, but we want to highlight maybe 6, 7, 8 games in the Inland Empire that we're really excited about. If you guys watch the show, I like to say juicy. These games are really, really juicy coming up in week 0. And again, the next couple of weeks we'll talk more about these matchups. But right now, we just want to scrape the surface, and these are some of the games in week 0 that we're fired up about because they are really, really juicy. These are the battles for Middle Earth, and let's start with Kaiser against the Rancho Verde, Lawrence Duncan, the new head football coach for the Mustangs, Coach 6 as they call him at the ranch. That is a huge game. In fact, that's a rematch of a CIF Southern Section Championship game not too long ago. Maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Can't remember now. It's at Rancho Verde. We got Orange Vista and Beaumont. That's going to be an appealing matchup. Beaumont obviously on the rise now in the Citrus Belt League. And Orange Vista, what the Zomalts are doing over there, Orange Vista is turning into a Riverside County power for sure. Norco against Vista Murrieta. What else do I need to say? Norco is coming off a Big 8 League championship. Vista Murrieta, your Southwestern League champion. It doesn't get any better than that. And these two teams, they have a little bit of history. They've played each other several times last couple of years. Great matchup. Then we got Rancho Cucamonga and Roosevelt. We highlight this one because Brian Hildebrand, the new head coach at Rancho Cucamonga, making his debut against Roosevelt, a very good Tommy Leach Roosevelt squad. And then, hey, what's not to love about Santiago taking on Heritage? And Andre Smith, the new head football coach for the Patriots, will make his debut against the Sharks. We got Valley View, Pete Smolin making his debut as the Eagles head coach going up against Temecula Valley, and Bert Esposito saw the Golden Bears in passing league. Yes, it's not real football. Yes, they did not have pads on. Yes, there's no linemen. I know all those things. But Temecula Valley looked pretty good. Aquinas taking on Etiwanda. You could make a case that these are two of the top teams in all of San Bernardino County going head-to-head in Week 0. Aquinas and Etiwanda. And finally, the granddaddy of them all. It is Mater Dei, the number one team in the entire country, taking on the mighty Centennial Huskies. Again, these are two schools that have plenty of history, and maybe this is the year that Centennial is going to pick off Mater Dei once again. But, man, the Monarchs have looked so good. I mean, they've been good for a long, long time, but the last couple of years, they've been so good. So, Centennial and Mater Dei. And this one will be at the Evil Empire there in Corona, Centennial High School. So those are some of those big, juicy games in Week 0 for high school football here in our inland sports coverage area. And again, we'll talk more about some of these matchups coming up, leading up to that first week, which is, again, that Friday would be August 20th. All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break here on the Inland Sports Show. When we come back, we'll talk some Yucaipa High School baseball. Ralph Grajeda, one of his star players, Jacob Reimer, will join us here on the Inland Sports Show. We'll be right back.
I would say the one thing that we stress more than anything else is service to our customer. Make sure that they're taking care of whatever you can do to make sure that that order gets to them on time and it's the right quality and what they want. I've been that way since 1976. That was my goal, to reach out to local sports programs, and it's grown from there, and we've been very, very fortunate. My grandson is right over here. He's working for us, and he's going to college right now, and that's exactly what my son did 20-some years ago, and it keeps on going, you know. We have customers that come in the store that it's amazing. People that I haven't been here since I was a little kid, and I used to come in here all the time. And then now I'm bringing my son in here, or a grandpa that's bringing his grandson in here that came in here when we first opened back in '76. We just feel so fortunate to have been a part of this community and this Inland Empire for going into our 44th year now. and it's just been a blessing.
Hey guys, it's Pep Fernandez from the #1 sports show in the Inland Empire, the Inland Sports Show. I wanted to let you know about the BASS School. That stands for the Boost Alternative School for Student Athletes. All of us are trying to find a way to get ahead in the classroom and in athletics. If you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Wanting to give your son the best opportunity to succeed. BASS is an all-boys private middle school servicing 7th and 8th grade student athletes. They've got unique, customized curriculum for student athletes, individualized nutrition and athletic development, plus rigorous academic development with small class sizes. This is not an online homeschool. This is a private school for students who are serious about their grades and serious about their sports. BASS school enrollment for the 2021-2022 school year begins in January, so don't wait. Lock up your spot today. Visit boosttrainingsystems.com for more information. And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, everybody. A big thanks to Daniel Algattas, the head football coach at San Bernardino Valley College, for joining us on the show. The Wolverines, again, kicking off September 4th against College of the Desert, and they're going to have some really good players on this team. And again, in the National Conference, that schedule is just going to get tougher for Coach Algattas and the Wolverines this upcoming season. Again, we're back in my living room this week. I was in my living room a couple weeks ago. Then we were back in the studio for a couple weeks. All of our summer vacation plans are kind of mixing things up, but big shout out to our director, Johnny Nunez. Johnny, you know we love you. You're the best in the business, taking some well-deserved time off. We'll be back in the studio at Teen Vision TV 16 come next week. But the show must go on from the Fernandez living room, and I'm so excited to have these guys on. You know, we do talk a lot of high school football on this show, but it has been a very busy summer for a lot of our top high school baseball players, including, and there's a bunch of them, at Yucaipa High School. Join us on the show. He is the head coach of the Thunderbirds, the great Ralph Grajeda. And Coach, we're going to get to Jacob Reimer as well in just a moment, but man, as the head coach at Yucaipa, and you see your players going off throughout the summer doing, you know, some pretty incredible things. I mean, how does it make you feel as a head coach when you see all these, you know, opportunities right in front of them?
I'm excited for them. I mean, I'm excited to be their coach. I mean, just to be a part of that process. I mean, we've got, you know, I was just looking at it and looking at a quick list. We've got 5 kids in USA baseball events right now. So I'm just, I mean, for a public school, it's pretty incredible stuff that's going on right now in our program. We're pretty excited about it.
Now, before we get to Jacob, you know, I had to ask him, you know, Jacob, where are you? Are you in North Carolina? Are you in Yucaipa right now? Even as the head coach, you try to keep tabs on, like, who is where and what tournament are they at and who's playing? And
yeah, it's they did a really good job of you know, keeping me in the loop. I follow them obviously on their social media. Like, hey, coach, I made this team or I made that team, and just you know, I had a triple off the wall, which Jacob did out in North Carolina. It was a mammal shot, by the way, and just, you know, it's just been really cool to follow them. I mean, just, you know, being a coach, and then sometimes you step outside yourself as a coach and you're just looking at it, just a person that loves baseball, and you're like, man, they're doing great stuff. Great stuff. Very, very proud of them.
Well, Coach, before we get to Jacob, you know, what do you think makes Jacob such a special player? Obviously, he's been identified as one of the top high school players in the entire country. You know, looks like the baseball draft will be in his future. You know, but what do you think makes him a special player?
You know, obviously he's a physical athlete, but I think one of the things, you know, coaching for quite some time and coaching at the college level for a bit, he takes very mature at bats. he is very much a student of the game. There isn't a time I really don't see him in the cages at night. The kid grinds. And the thing about him that stands out besides his power, I mean, he takes great at-bats, mature at-bats for a 17, 18-year-old young man. He doesn't punch out a lot, and he does have pole-to-pole power. But he can also give us a line drive hit and a situational hit. He's a special hitter. I've coached for a very long time, and he's going to be in the middle lineup D1 hitter for someone, for sure.
All right, Coach. So let's talk a little bit with Jacob now. And Jacob, you were in North Carolina, and I'll let you talk more about it. But talk about what this tournament means in terms of just being identified, as one of the top players at the high school level in the country. And, just getting some eyeballs on you at this point for a possible professional baseball career in your very near future. So what was that like? And kind of describe to people who are casual baseball fans what this tournament's all about.
It's the top 90 players in the country basically, and you just go at it and you're just out there showing what you got against the best. And basically, it's just so cool getting there, and then when you get on the field with everyone, you just know it's a different atmosphere with the mental side of it. It's pretty mature for a bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds. It's super fun to play.
So Jacob, you go off to these big time tournaments with, again, like great competition, like the caliber of play I'm sure is off the charts. When you're at those tournaments and those games, do you embrace the pressure? Because like there's tons of guys scouting you and watching you and breaking down every little thing you do. I mean, you're like, hey, bring it on. I mean, how do you deal with that pressure?
I don't really feel the pressure from the scouts because I'm so locked in and competitive because I want to be better than these guys. Because my whole thing is I want to be the best of the best, not just up there with the best. So when I play against people like that, I need to lock in now and show everyone why I'm better than these kids out here. So
how'd it go? How did you do out there?
I did good. I did really good. I was one of the highest batting averages, is finding barrels all over. I batted .571 on base and showcased well, so it was fun.
So after you have a big tournament like that, do you start hearing things or reading things or seeing things on social media from, I don't know, like scouts or whatever? Do you try to just block it out and say, hey, that was fun, I'm going to go back to Yucaipa now, I'm going to get back in the batting cage and just keep going back to work?
I try to block it out. I just gotta keep going and working because I'm not there yet. So just keep going.
But Coach says, I mean, you're already a great player. So if you were going to be picky, what would you say? Like, hey, this is room for improvement. These are things that I can still do better.
Something I could do better is probably gotta say. I'd probably say the defensive side. I'm a good defender, but compared to all my other tools, I feel like that's the weakest. And I pride myself on my defense. I'm actually like a really good defender, but that's probably the weakest right now. So,
hey, just trying to be picky, right? Just trying to be like, hey, where can we get better at? And Coach, obviously, there's not a lot of weaknesses with this guy, and Jacob is one of a handful of guys that you're really excited about inside the program right now. Let's do a little name dropping. Who are some of those other guys? I know we can't list every single guy on your roster, but you do have some talented guys who are getting noticed across the country.
We do, and I wanted to, circle back to the event that Jacob was in. He was in the PDP, it's the Prospect Development Pipeline, and that was the top 40 players that went out and got after it, and that was a collaboration with Major League Baseball and USA Baseball. It was to help identify the top 40. So that's a very special, group that he was a part of. Yeah, I mean, just it's pretty special. We've got five kids in USA Baseball events, and obviously we just talked about Jacob, and we have Owen Egan. He just made the 16U National Development program, and he'll be playing here pretty soon with that. And then we have two sophomores, two 2024s, and Daniel Algattas and Tristan Doty. They just made the NITS Southwest team as well. And then we have an incoming freshman, and hopefully you'll hear about him pretty soon, Trevor Busby. He just made the USA Baseball ADP, which is the athlete development program for the top 40, 13, 14-year-olds. So it's crazy. It's pretty special. I mean, to fathom that, it's just a perfect storm that came together. They're doing a great job, really, really great, just a great job.
Coach, what's crazy is, I look at Yucaipa High School's recent history, and they've had a bunch of guys go on to college, go on to Major League Baseball. You've got guys in the pros right now, but I almost feel like, and again, if I'm being overly dramatic, please correct me, but I feel like we're almost like in the golden age of Yucaipa High School baseball. You guys won a Division II championship a couple of years ago. You've got all this great talent coming up. I feel like we're just going into and living in right now maybe some of the best baseball we'll ever see at Yucaipa High School.
Well, we have the major leaguers, that's the Coach Stout era. We need to have some guys move along. I'm only in year 5, so I believe Yucaipa has, with Coach Stout, they have 7 major leaguers. I think Tyler Wells made the roster with Baltimore. So I mean, that just speaks volumes for the legacy he left behind and what's here at Yucaipa. So I really like what we've done. We've placed, I want to say 25, 26 kids at college, and 14 are D1. I know some decommitted because of coaching changes and whatnot, but they're going to land with some D1 programs. And, my job is to help prepare them and get them to college level. And I think we're doing that and playing at a high level. And, we want to be one of the best teams in Southern California. And if we are, then we're one of the best teams in the United States. That's our goal.
Well, Coach, you mentioned Jeff Stout, the longtime legendary, head coach for the Thunderbirds. Obviously right before you took over the program. You're bringing back the Stout Classic, which is actually a fall tournament for high school baseball. Talk about why you wanted to bring that back, and you sent me the list of schools. These are really good schools. Like, this is going to be a great tournament with some of the best teams in the Inland Empire and beyond in Southern California. It looks like.
So about 3 years ago, we were trying to think about when you schedule as a high school coach, you're trying to schedule games and tournaments that kind of fit your fall schedule. And there was an opportunity to create a tournament or a round robin type of situation during Veterans Day in November. And we thought long and hard about it. And we thought the best way to go about that on our end was to honor Coach Stout, who had been at Yucaipa for 41 years, and obviously a Hall of Fame coach. So it started with 8 teams, and they're all local Inland Empire teams, mostly, the Big 8 and, Inland Empire schools. And then it grew to 16. And then last year, because obviously during COVID, we didn't know if we were going to get to play or not. We weren't really sure, but we were up to 40 teams, and it has really grown. We have teams, we have a team from Liberty, Northern California, Brentwood area, a great team that's going to come down. We have teams from Orange County, Foothill, Capistrano Valley, just to name a few there. Maranatha is going to come out and play. And then obviously we have Big 8 schools, and we have Southwest schools, Great Oak, Chaparral, Norco, I want to say Centennial, probably missing a few schools as well. But we're pretty excited about it. It's an opportunity to just kind of, get after it a little bit, see where our pitching's at. Everybody's kind of get to see where their pitching's at early, and I'd make some identifications when they're in program. And we thought it was a great opportunity to honor Coach Stout and have some good baseball in the Inland Empire.
Yeah, what a great way to get ready for the spring season with that great competition coming up this fall. Coach, let me go back to Jacob one more time, because Jacob, I want to ask you, we've been talking about all these great players in the Yucaipa High School baseball program right now. I know you've got your senior season coming up, so how excited are you? How much are you looking forward to this upcoming spring at Yucaipa High School, knowing how much talent you have and maybe the expectations you guys have as a program? Because on paper, you guys have a ton of talent. Do you feel like this is a team that could, make a serious run in Division I for that title?
Yeah, my 8th grade year, I watched them win. I went to a couple of playoff games. I knew that's what I wanted to do, and this year, getting a chance to lead, it's the only goal I have is win a championship this year with us. So it's going to start day one when we get into school. That's what we want to do. So,
do you feel like, again, Yucaipa's had some great players, great teams, but this is a way for you and your class, the class of 22, to maybe put your stamp on the program, right? Your legacy, like, hey, this is what they did their senior year.
Yeah, it'd be special to win in Division I too, and we feel like we have a really good shot to do it with this team. We have really good chemistry where a lot of people are coming back, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, you guys totally have a ton of talent. Jacob, I really appreciate the time. Great job out there in North Carolina, and best of luck now going forward, man.
Thank you.
All right, that's Jacob Reimer. And Coach, let me go back to you one more time before we wrap things up. Again, exciting times for the Yucaipa High School baseball program. I wanted to bring you on because, here we are, we're focused on high school football, and we talk a lot of football on this show, but I know the summers are just so busy right now for a lot of your baseball guys, and it looks like, again, you've got a ton of talent. What's your expectation maybe for this squad when we look ahead to next spring and what they might be able to do in terms of a playoff run?
For us, we're going to prepare the same. Not much has changed. I think the guys know, we talk about that all the time. Just take care of today and it takes care of the rest of it. But the bar, we don't really back off of it. So we want to play at a high level. Last year was a young team, and I thought they did a really, really good job. They got to the quarters, and we think we can do obviously better than that next year. I mean, this coming year, but again, that all starts with how we prepare and get after it. And there's no doubt in my mind they're gonna prepare and get after it. So it's gonna be a fun year.
Well, Coach, I always appreciate our conversations. And again, thanks for jumping on short notice. I do appreciate it because we always love talking Yucaipa baseball on here.
Appreciate it. Thanks again.
Yes, sir. That is Ralph Grajeda, the head coach at Yucaipa, and Jacob Reimer, one of his star players out there for the T-Birds. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we'll wrap things up in a couple news and notes from the world of high school football, of course, right? What else? We'll be right back here on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. The time is now. The Boost Training Center is open for business and ready to help all the athletes across the Inland Empire. Doesn't matter the age or the sport, if you go to Boost Training with Coach Ray Bass, they're going to make you bigger, faster, stronger. So if you're out there looking to train this offseason, talking about all you football players especially, check out boosttrainingsystems.com. That is the website. You can find a strength and speed class just for you this offseason so you can be even bigger, better, faster, stronger this upcoming season. Give them a call or text at 951-532-4904 to reserve your spot today. Strength and speed training at Boost Training System. And don't forget, enrollment is open right now for the Bass School. That's Boost Alternative School for student athletes. You can check out what they have to offer at boosttrainingsystems.com. That is the website once again. And you can enroll for the 2021-2022 school year. Again, this is not an online school. This is a private school specifically for 7th and 8th grade boys. Check it out today because space is limited.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. As we wrap things up, you just saw the promo on your screen. Coming up August 7th at Centennial High School, you got the great Matt Logan, head football coach for the Huskies. You got Ray Bass from Boost Performance Training doing a youth camp out there at Centennial High School. That is August 7th. You can get more information at boosttrainingsystems.com to register. You don't want to miss out. It's open to 4th through 8th graders. So that's the age range that they're looking for this camp. So make sure you check that out. And also make sure you give them a follow on Instagram. In fact, I was just, during the commercial break, looking through my phone. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, man, I'm turning it wrong. There's Boost Performance Training talking about the upcoming camp at Centennial High School. And then right above that, I guess just by chance, we got Ken Sporting Goods, another one of our great sponsors. Check those out. Indian Springs High School, the football team, love the Coyotes, getting some custom, let's see, they're staying hydrated in the heat with these custom stainless steel water bottles with the Indian Springs logo on it. Those are awesome. Only at Ken Sporting Goods, so make sure you give them a follow as well. Check them out online. KenSportingGoods.com is the website. Again, doing it from home this week, our director, Johnny Nunez, getting the night off, and very well deserved. It's about to get really busy for Johnny, for myself, for everybody around high school football, with week 0 now just a couple weeks away, coming up on August 20th. A big shout out to our guest, Yucaipa High School Baseball. We had Ralph Grajeda, Jacob Reimer. We had SBVC head coach Daniel Algattas breaking down the Wolverines season. So again, football season will be here before you know it. My name is Pep Fernandez. We appreciate you tuning in. It's been fun. Stay safe out there. God bless you. And we'll talk more high school sports, more local college sports come next Wednesday on your favorite show. It's the Inland Sports Show. We'll see you then.